Now that all of the video is connected and configured within the system and the interface is set up the way that you like, you're ready to start a live production. But before we actually start the production, let's take a look at loading up all of the internal modules in the TriCaster that are available for use during that live production. There are 2 network inputs that allow you to work with external computers. There are 2 digital disc recorders that allow you to play back a wide variety of media, video clips, audio clips, stills, and titles. There are also players for both stills and titles, and a separate sounds player. If you wanted to have a music bed or a sound effect, you could play it back from the sounds player and not have to use one of the video-capable DDRs in order to do that. So let's take a look at loading our content and setting up all of these different inputs in the TriCaster before we start the live production. There are 2 network inputs located here in the interface, and each one has a pop-down, and the pop-down will allow you to select any computer that's on the same network as the TriCaster that's running our IVGA software. IVGA is a small piece of software that comes with your TriCaster. It's available for the Mac or the PC, and it's on the disk that comes in the box with your TriCaster. It's also available for download from the registration site. When you register your TriCaster, you create an account on our registration site. By going back into that registration part of our website, using your name and your password to get in, you'll have access to an area called My Downloads. This includes IVGA for both the Mac or the PC, and it also includes our codec pack. We have a proprietary codec pack that we can use called SpeedHQ, and that can be loaded onto external computers. And then, of course, the SpeedHQ files that we use within our editor and within other NewTek products can easily be run on other computers and used within other software packages. So again, all of that is available both on the disk in the box and from the registration download site. Now that you have computers running IVGA on the same network as the TriCaster, they'll show up in this list, and you can select them. Here's one computer, here's a separate computer, and I have access to them simply by bringing them up and selecting them on the list. Now there are 2 network pop-ups here, so you can connect to 2 separate computers at the same time, and you can switch between them. And again, this can be a Mac or a PC. Network inputs in the TriCaster also allow you to bring in Apple AirPlay devices. So any device, an iPad, iPod, iPhone, MacBook, any device, even iTunes, that can send out an Apple AirPlay signal, that signal can be received by the TriCaster and brought in wirelessly to the production. Simply set the network input to the receive mode, then log the Apple AirPlay device onto the same network as the TriCaster. Now, you can take a wireless network hub and you can attach it with a wire to the TriCaster, and then that will create a wireless network that you can log the Apple devices onto in order to get the AirPlay signal directly into the TriCaster wirelessly. You also have 2 digital disc recorders, and the DDRs are down here, and we have tabs for them, DDR1 and DDR2. And let's talk about loading these up. First of all, there's an Add button right down here, and you can click on the Add button, and it's going to bring up our media browser. Now, the media browser tries to organize any session that you currently have on this machine, not just the one that you're in, but any other session, so you have access to the media that's available in any of the sessions that you currently have on the machine. You also have access to stills and titles and all the other types of media that a DDR can play. The media player is smart enough to know which module you're loading the content into. So when you're loading into a DDR, it will display all of the type of content that can be played in a DDR. If you're loading into a stills or a titles bin, it's not going to show you the video clips because those can't be loaded into a stills or a titles bin. So it's an intelligent media requester that comes with the TriCaster, and you do have the ability within the requester itself to add other locations. You can come down here and say browse. You could go out and you could load other content from other drives. You could attach external drives, but again, we really don't want you to play things back or record things to those external drives. We want all that to be done from the internal removable drives in the TriCaster. So always remember to import all of that content before you start the live production. Browsing to an external hard drive and loading the content will work, but you may have some performance issues trying to play back high-definition video clips from those external hard drives. When loading up video clips inside of the requester, there's a few tricks. Of course, all of your Windows shortcuts work, so if you click on a first clip and you hold Shift down on the keyboard, and you click on another clip, it will select everything in between. You can also select one clip and hold down Control and then select individual clips. And a neat trick is when you hold down Control and you select multiple clips to bring into a DDR, it will actually remember the order in which you click on those clips, and it will load them into the DDR in that order. So if you know that you've got certain clips that are going to play within a certain order, just click on them in the order that you want to load them into the DDR, and they will show up in the DDR on import in the order in which you clicked on them. So for instance, I'm going to come down to my DDR here, and I'm going to open up a new preset. If you mouse over to the left-hand side, and over in DDR number 2, it's over here on the right-hand side, you'll see these buttons will come out from the side. These are presets for either of those DDRs. A preset is like a playlist that you have instant access to, and there are 20 of them per DDR. So you can set playlists up either with different types of media. I could have one with video, one with stills, one with audio, or you could just organize your media. All the clips for the first half of the show are here, all the clips for the second half of the show are here, however you want to organize it. So to get to a new preset, we simply click on a preset. It's like having a brand new DDR available. I'm going to click on the Add button, and again, I'm going to hold down the Control key, say I want this clip first, then the balloon, then the flowers, then the lion, then the fountains. And when we load them in, you'll see that's exactly the order that they're in. Now once you get them into the DDR, you can left click and you can drag on clips and you can reorganize them. So you're not locked into what comes into the DDR. It's just a nice shortcut to get you going as quickly as possible. Again, to go to another preset, simply click on it and you have instant access. So you can see you can instantly change out the media that you have access to. Now you'll notice that this one's kind of loading up. It's caching. So once you've done that one time, now the clips are going to show up very, very quickly. So as you load up presets, make sure that you let the TriCaster cache all of the thumbnails before you start your live production, and you're never going to have a situation where you're switching to a preset and you have to have things draw. As long as you cache them all before the production starts, everything will show up instantly. There's also a player for still images and a player for titles, and these work very much the same way. You have presets for the stills bin as well, and there are presets for the titles bin, allowing you to have many different styles of titles instantly accessible. You load these the same way. You've got an Add button right down here, brings up the requester. Again, it's only going to show me stills and titles, because those are the only things that can be loaded into either of these tabs. It is an interesting side note that you do have the ability to load titles into the stills bin and stills into the titles bin. So both of those are kind of treated as the same thing, even though they are two different files. But it does give you a little bit of flexibility, especially with the presets, where you could have stills and titles within one bin and just access them via the presets. There's also a sounds player available, and this will play back just sound files. So again, this is great for adding a music bed to your live production, adding a sound effect, or anything like that, and you don't have to take up either of the video-capable DDRs to play back those sounds files. You can play them back from the dedicated sounds player.